I hope the honorable speakers don't misunderstand my requests. We fully want to listen, but because of the constraint of time, I am compelled to cut down. But I am pretty sure what Mr. J.B. Goel spoke really enthused our soul. And he spoke about the song, so I would request our team from Calcutta to sing the same song, More Arati Kore Chandra Tapono. That would be a little diversion from the speeches, which you perhaps would like. But before the singing, let me request the audience to listen through your heart. Ignore the language. Cross the language, because Shabda Brahma is only sound, all right? If we feel it through our heart, we will understand the meaning. Connect yourself. It's a prayer song. I would request every one of us to think about God. And this is how Tagore had explained the cosmic personality of God. Thank you very much. All right. As a compare of this morning, I'll let you know the time is 10 minutes to 12 and we have to finish it by 1:30 so that all of us can go back and come back once again at 6:30. 6:30 is our premium program. Don't miss it. Please don't miss it. So we've got 3 speakers, and forgive me that I can allocate 25 minutes each. All right. So now to welcome the next speaker, is our vibrant, colorful Mr. Janojit Roy from Shantiniketan. Although he's from Chandigarh, I still love saying that he's from Shantiniketan because he is carrying with him the personality of Patha Bhavan and Vishwabharati. So welcome him, and I'll request Suchitra to honor him, please. And amidst your celebration, of course, don't spare your energies from celebrating for these wonderful people.
I am extremely honored and humbled to speak in the company of such well-known, established authorities. I thank Asit Babu, Suchitra Devi for giving me this opportunity. Much has been said about the educational ideals of Tagore by educationists and renowned researchers about the exceptionality and the efficacy of the school that Rabindranath Tagore established in Shantiniketan in 1901. I am neither a scholar nor an expert of any mentionable merit with regard to either Rabindranath or school education. I am but an educator come leader in the sphere of school education in the 21st century, looking to be part of a paradigm shift. I am looking towards a student-centered, skills-based, inquiry-oriented and personalized model of learning as opposed to the adult-directed, content-based, examination-oriented, one-size-fits-all model of teaching that unfortunately rules the roost today. And for this understanding of where schooling should be, I'm totally beholden to Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. I was a student myself there, and my parents, my grandparents, and a whole plethora of my relatives were there, beginning from the time that Gurudev himself taught till very recently. And we've seen the changes over the years as a family there. Not all the changes have been very nice, but all the same, Rabindranath's ideals remain always very good for what India needs, very apt and suitable for what India needs. Now, we must start by asking ourselves a few questions regarding what is schooling. Why do we send our children to schools? Especially so in the context of the 21st century, because the things have changed in such drastic ways and at such drastic speed that the playing fields for the children growing up today have changed their parameters completely. As I understand, a school is the place where society sends its children and pre-adult young people for their education. It is an institution designed to allow and encourage students to learn under the supervision of educators. It is supposed to be an efficiently organized unit dedicated to facilitating the development of skills, aptitudes, attitudes, and knowledge amongst its students in a sequential manner. Education is a process of maturation and transformation undergone by human beings, the only species that possesses the infinite capacity for creative learning of acquiring or constructing knowledge individually as also collectively and acting on that knowledge. Education and learning must ensure that all the individual talents, abilities, and potential of children are discovered, kindled, nurtured, and sustained to enable them to lead a life of spiritual, intellectual, emotional, aesthetic, cultural, social, physical, and professional fullness and integrity as adults. Education must endow people with the ability to add creative value to data or information, transform that into knowledge, and further transform that into wisdom that can be applied to real life. Great Britain in the 19th century, in order to consolidate its power in India, obviously wanted to replace India's well-established systems of education and culture with something designed to make the majority of Indians think that all that was English and foreign was better and greater than their own, and thereby lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and become a truly dominated nation. It unleashed on India a fraudulent version of British education that most certainly did not bring to Indians the better aspects of the schooling that children in Great Britain got, but focused on establishing a non-creative band of followers who would bolster and further the designs of the British Raj as their loyal clerks and babus. This is something that the British imperialist rulers of the 19th century envisioned and implemented most successfully. And India in many ways is still reeling as a nation from the impact of that barbarically systematic onslaught on its spiritual and cultural heritage, as well as its old education system. Of course, it would be wrong to say that our exposure to Western knowledge and ideals through Britain and British people was totally detrimental. It brought about something very, very important in its wake. The first 6 decades of the 19th century saw an upheaval in the socio-cultural spheres of Bengal society. The next 4 decades witnessed the formation and emergence of political societies and associations which ultimately were instrumental in guiding India towards her independence in 1947. The term Bengal Renaissance is used to describe this golden period of awakening within Bengal in the fields of philosophy, literature, the arts, science, and politics. The Bengal Renaissance was all about the rebirth of learning. Born into a family that was at the forefront of this socio-cultural movement, Rabindranath is, for very correct reasons, considered to be the embodiment of the best of what the Bengal Renaissance stood for. Rabindranath was a polymath and a multifaceted genius who literally transformed the cultural soil of Bengal with his writing, music, art, and much more. Rabindranath could well have remained content in the world of the creative arts. However, why such a creative genius found it necessary to found a school that later became the nucleus of an international university, the motto of which is Yatra Vishwam Bhavat Ekaniram, or where the world finds its nest, where the universe comes together in a single nest, is definitely something worth delving deep into. Vishwabharati is perhaps the only university anywhere in the world that has a school, Pato Bhavan, as its nucleus. As Rabindranath himself says, I was brought up in an atmosphere of aspiration for the expansion of the human spirit.